I'm Paul Girardi from Catalyst. This egg timer video is on how you design if you have to deliver one experience across many devices. The challenge is that many solutions need to be device agnostic, and it's particularly relevant in banking and investments. You may like to sit at your desktop and do all your investments and do all your trading, but if you see that Apple is absolutely going to the roof, you want to be able to buy more on your smartphone. I'm going to show you a 5-step approach to many devices, one experience, and it's based on you want to simplify, you want to innovate in the places where it really makes a difference, and you want to reduce waste. Waste is the stuff that you have to do on one device that you can't apply across other devices. So let's just use an example that'll be near and dear to your heart. Let's assume that this is your portfolio and you've been successful. Your goal is $5 million. You're almost at $5 million, and your investment advisor says you get to $5 million and you're done. You could take 4% out a year. That's $200,000 a year. The house is paid for, the kids' college is paid for, and you and your spouse think that's probably going to work pretty well. So step one is to simplify by identifying what are the key work areas that people need to do. You design in the work areas and you simplify those work. Step two is to design and innovate for tablet first. Tablet first, interesting. Tablets have size constraints. Tablets require gesture. Tablets require touch. If you can design for a tablet first, it becomes much easier to apply in other areas. So let's take a look at this. Here are those work areas you've designed for that portfolio overview. Here are the holdings. Interesting, not a list. I mentioned that innovation is a key part of it. Where you want to innovate is in the work areas. In this case, instead of showing holdings as a list, we're showing them more visually. Lots of people are visual learners. People are also kinesthetic learners. They want to say, let me look at it month to date or year to date. So these work areas become the places where you want to innovate. Everyone wants to be able to drill down to a particular stock, and you need to be able to trade. So you simplify by focusing on the work areas, and those work areas are the places where you innovate. Next step is to apply it across desktops. That's fairly easy. If you get the tablet right, applying it across the desktop is very straightforward. It scales, you've got more room to deal with, but in general it's fairly straightforward. Now, step 4 is adjusting for smartphones. What I need to tell you is the reality of these smartphones. You need to think of them as the common day Airstream trailer, and you're just not going to get your 5-bedroom house into an Airstream trailer. So you need to be more efficient, more clever. You'll notice on the far left that navigation isn't always visible. It's a panel that gets exposed. So the UI actually will need to change. Now you see that you've got these 4 other work areas. It's still the same work areas, but it's presented. It's scaled so that it can present more vertically on the smartphone. Also notice that you only have the navigation that's necessary to do the work. And I need to make a very specific point and say, for the most part, people managing investments don't rely on their cameras a lot and don't rely on GPS. This doesn't take advantage of the native functionality of the application, of the device. If you do need to take advantage of the native functionality, then you're going to need to address the design slightly differently, which is a topic in another video. Step 5 is when you do the development, you want to develop this UI in panels that is interfaced to functionality all the way back to the data source. And ideally, you want to be able to leverage this across the devices. What are you really trying to leverage is that you've got a panel that can be rendered across multiple devices. It's got a view model, which is the data that renders that panel. There's some element that optimizes the data that's sent across the wire, because all you want to send across the wire is just the data that's necessary. You've got web services and business logic on the back end that you want to be able to reuse. And there's a data object. All of this, as much as possible, you'd like to leverage across devices. You won't always be able to do it, but when you can, you want to think 10x. In other words, our experience has been that if you are able to take this approach on the views where you can use an existing panel, you can get about a 10-fold increase in your development effort. So what's your next step? If you've got a project where you need to deal with this issue of you've got one experience that needs to be applied across many devices, take advantage of a 1-hour consultation from us, and we'll give you some thoughts about how to put this approach to work. Email me at paul@catalystresources.com, and we'll have someone from the Catalyst team arrange a web meeting to speak with you.